everybody, this is Cory, OSU Bucknutz podcast. Nothing to do with 247 Bucknutz, just for everybody who was wondering about that. I'm here with my good buddy Trent. How you doing, Trent?
I'm doing good.
Here to talk about Buckeyes, obviously, but you're probably wondering why we're playing baseball. That's because they don't have the NCAA game anymore, and we're both on PS4, and we don't have Madden yet. Madden 18 has not come out yet, so we're just doing baseball because it's the only similar game we have. And anyway, this came about. This is an Ohio State Buckeyes podcast, football mainly. I just want to go ahead and point out why we're doing this. We started playing online together one night, and we didn't even talk about baseball or the game itself we were playing. We were talking about Buckeyes football the entire time. And I figured, you know what? Let's do a podcast this way. Let's give somebody to watch, something to watch while we're talking Buckeyes football. And Trent thought it was a good idea because Trent's a smart guy. And the reason why I like having Trent on is because he has some sources that kind of give him a direction of where things may be going or may not be going with players, and so he can at least give an educated guess. I'm not claiming neither one of us are Birmingham or Givler or Alex Gleitman, but we can kind of give an educated guess on where we think a player is going to go. Is that right?
Yeah, it's very true.
So, OSU Bucknutz podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights, man, we're finally getting towards the season, Trent. We're to where we're almost at Friday Night Lights.
About time.
I know, man. It's been ridiculous. So, anyway, but before Friday Night Lights, we have one player who's a big Buckeye target who's going to be committing on July 17th, Monday. I can't remember the time. I think it's 3:30 in the afternoon. I could be wrong on that. Jeremy Ruckert, number 1 tight end in the country, now a 5-star tight end, number 11th ranked player in the country according to 247 Sports. Trent, how good do you feel about him being a Buckeye?
I don't like to use the word luck, but I think he's told the coaches where he's not going. I think he's talked to Michigan and is it Wisconsin and
Notre Dame.
Yeah, I think I would say he's already informed the coaches, or he will right before he announces.
Yeah, I think so
he's a
too.
Buckeye.
I think so too. I think he's a Buckeye. I'm giving this a 100% unless something drastically goes wrong before Monday. Zach Smith tweets something that ticks him off or whatever. But I'll say that the interesting thing about this is it was rumored that it was a tight race between us and the team up north until the team up north decided to negative recruit Ohio State. What do you think about that?
Well, if I was a recruit, it'd probably get on my nerves because, you're here to teach me about your school, not tell me what another school's not doing. Personally, I think it'd find it annoying. Can you sell your school?
I heard that bothered the family, is that they kept talking negative about Ohio State, and it's just here's the thing I don't understand about negative recruiting. Okay, obviously he goes to the Team Up North campus to do a visit, which it's his right. That's great. He's checking out schools. He's being thorough. I respect that. But they know he likes Ohio State. This isn't a secret. They know he likes Ohio State. So you decide to talk negatively about something he likes. You're not vindicating his own beliefs. You're actually causing harm to how he views you instead. It's almost like when two guys are going after a girl, and you're telling the girl why she shouldn't be with the other guy. That's not going to help at all.
Well, yeah, I don't see why he thinks that's going to work. For one, you're talking about a school you can't beat.
Yeah. A school that's actually won a national title recently.
Or a full national championship in the past 50 years.
That's true. We've actually won 2 to their half. And they only got the half because I think they whined and griped about they should be included or whatever. I don't know who. Or else it was Nebraska who whined and griped. I don't remember. I remember everybody usually back then thought Nebraska was actually a better team, but I don't know. It's 20 years now, so they can do a celebration of their half title. They can do a celebration of their half title at one of the half times this year.
Well, it's almost one of the things get better in third in the division.
Yeah.
And then talk.
Not even the division, the east side of the division. So it's like, okay, I understand you don't want him going to Ohio State. tell him why. And the funny part is the fans try to provide a better argument than what probably Harbaugh did about their use of the tight ends in their pro-style offense. And I thought, well, that's actually a better argument than what Harbaugh's given.
Well, I mean, I just don't think he can sell the school. So,
at least
I think the relationships with the coaching staff and his family, girlfriend, all that, just too much. I mean,
yeah, I don't think it helped that he sent Jay Harbaugh to recruit the kid versus Kevin Wilson and Greg Schiano. That probably did not help.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't imagine how that would work.
But moving into Friday Night Lights, I don't think Ruckert's going to be there. He's from New York, but he is committing on Monday, and we both think it's going to be the Buckeyes. We're both actually fairly certain it's going to be the Buckeyes. But we're going to go to Friday Night Lights now, and we got a list of people that are expected to be there as of right now, which is what, Saturday, June, 15th? Or July 15th?
Yep, 15th.
And
July, yeah.
Oh man, if it was June 15th, I'd be crying. Anyway, only 47 days away from Ohio State football, so that's something to keep in mind. I'm going to go down a list here, and Trent knows a lot of these guys, and understands where their where their loyalties lie and everything. I'm going to start with quarterbacks. Obviously, for 2018, we have Emory Jones, so we're not recruiting other quarterbacks. We're not that stupid. We're not going to upset Emory Jones, one of the best quarterbacks in 2018 class. So just put that out of your mind. It doesn't matter if a 2018 quarterback shows up. He's not getting an offer. He's not getting a look. That's all there is to it. But 2019 is another story. We do need a quarterback for 2019. And there's two that are interesting. I'm not going to go into the first one because I don't think it'll go anywhere. But the second one is some guy you want to keep an eye on is Dwan Mathis, who's an Iowa State commit. And he may have committed too early because he's starting to blow up. Am I right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Very certain. Very certain. He's definitely going to be a top one in the class.
Yeah, he just got a Michigan State offer. I think he's still working for an Ohio State offer. And I remember Jeremy Birmingham saying he would take Dwan Mathis in 2019 and call it a day. And that's a pretty big endorsement.
Oh, certainly. I mean, he's one of the best. Berman knows his stuff. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Do you think that if the Buckeyes offer him that it'd be long before he would flip his commitment, or do you think he wants to keep looking around?
I could see him decommitting would be more likely option than a flip per se. He might want to get some more offers before he makes a final decision.
Yeah, I can see that too, but I think he committed this way too early and kind of sold himself short. I'm not trying to rip on Iowa State. That's where the great Tom Herman came from to Ohio State, but let's be honest, you're not on the level of even a Michigan State, let alone Ohio State. Other schools he's probably going to get offers from. That's just the reality of the situation, and I'm sure that Iowa State fans know that, but unlike some other schools that we're going to be discussing coming up. But yeah, you know exactly where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I know what schools you're talking about.
Well, let's go to the running backs. Not really many on the list that I see really getting a huge look from Ohio State yet, but there are two commits that are coming. One I'm excited about, hasn't been to Ohio State in a year, is Brian Snead, the first 2018 commit of Ohio State. How excited do you have him back on campus?
Well, it's always great to get a commit back on campus, especially since he committed last year at Friday Night Lights. Florida guy, some great colleges down there. It's always big to get a commit back on with all these other commitments, so they meet him. Say if he hasn't met like a Jalen Gill, he gets to spend time with him. Just build some chemistry there.
By the way, I should have pointed this out in the beginning, but I'm the Cubs and Trent is the Cardinals. I just should have pointed that out. It didn't really occur to me that nobody could tell.
Yeah.
Right now we're at a stalemate at nothing. But we played a game before this where the first pitch, Trent hit a home run off me. First stinking pitch. I had Justin Verlander against the Dodgers, and it just wasn't going well for me. So I'm there giving it. I'm there. Basically saying it happened because I didn't record it, so I'm just putting it on record there, just for Trent's sake. But I'm happy to get Brian Snead back on campus. And this is interesting about Brian is it is the quietest I've ever seen a Florida commit be, because usually with Florida commits you're just like every other week there's a flip story about them. And Sean Wade was that way, and I love Sean Wade. I'm so happy he stuck with Ohio State. But yeah, every week we were all biting our nails. Like, is he flipping this week? Is he gone? Is he going to Bama?
Oh yeah, you seen Bama insiders, crystal balling the flip there. I mean,
based on the flimsiest of information.
Yeah. I mean, based on reading your stuff, I thought, well, there was a chance.
I thought he was gone at one point. I just forget it. It's just no way. It was 6 months from signing day, and I'm like, there's just no way. He's gonna go. He's been to Alabama 6 times. So there's just no way. But God bless Sean Wade and his family for resisting that Nick Saban charm. And I know he says.
That's one of the things. I almost wonder how long has he known he was going to stay Buckeye.
He probably knew for a while.
I mean, had plans.
He probably knew for a while. He says Alabama wasn't even his second school; it was Virginia Tech. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, if you say it, I'll believe it. But I gotta be honest with you, that one's hard to believe.
Yeah.
But that's Sean Wade, and God bless him. He's a Buckeye. He's going to be a great one for us. Brian Snead, you don't hear that at all. He's not even taking visits. He's saying, "Oh, I can't imagine myself at another school." I don't know what it is about Ohio State that endeared him so much as a Florida kid, but we're glad to have him, man, because this running back class is not that deep, and you don't want to be scrummaging for the 15th and 20th ranked running backs in this class. You got to get them at the top, and Brian Snead's a top 5 running back.
Oh, for sure. And the thing about Florida people or Florida recruits is, they grew up watching Meyer in Florida. I mean, they wanted to play for him. I mean,
that helps a lot for sure.
Exactly. I mean, that's.
And the high school coaches all know him in Florida. They all know Meyer, so.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely recruits at a high level and goes everywhere, so he's got connections.
And moving on to the next running back, Master Teague, Mr. Huge jump in the ratings recently. 150-something spots in the 247 ratings to the number 3 running back in the country in the 247. Not a composite, but a 247. I gotta love it, man, because he deserved it. He's putting up some sick numbers in camps, and he also had a great year in his junior year. And I gotta be honest with you, this looks like an Alfred special. This looks like like Alfred knew it before everybody else did, and had to fight for that get him an offer because they were worried about Zamir White. And I gotta be honest with you, I'm perfectly happy missing out on Zamir White. Not that I didn't want him, I'm not lying, but if we got Snead and Teague, you can't really complain about this running back class.
No. Teague's he's a diamond in the rough. He's would shout to 247 Sports for not dropping him like every other recruit.
Yeah, well, he just showed us, as long as you don't get invited to the opening and compete, you won't get dropped. I mean, it's just it makes no sense. But I whatever. I remember Steve Wilfong, as much as I respect him, had a crying fit about it because people were ripping him constantly, and he deleted a message on the message boards. I thought it was pretty funny, and I like Steve a lot. I respect his opinion, but I just thought that was pretty ridiculous. It's like, dude, your explanations make no sense. I'm sorry. So whatever.
That look like a baby, but.
Yeah, act like a little bit of a baby. It's just like you're in a profession. You're going to get criticized for your opinion. You're just going to have to get over that. Moving on to the H-back, the one H-back that's going to be on campus is none other than the man, the myth, the legend himself. The greatest troll video I've ever seen in a commitment. When he was going to UCLA, and he got me, he got writers, he got everybody, and then all of a sudden oh man, my heart sank. Is Jalen Gill the man? I cannot wait to see him in scarlet and gray, man.
He's a recruiting class leader.
He's a leader for the class. He's also a superstar. I don't care what the rankings say. This guy is a 5-star H-back running back. He is going to be a superstar for Ohio State. I actually think when Andrew Lind, I think it was, said he was going to be better than Curtis Samuel. Nothing against Curtis Samuel. I love Curtis Samuel, but I do think Jalen Gill has a better skill set. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that video, I remember sitting there watching it live, and our buddy James was like, oh, he's UCLA. I remember sitting there watching the video, and I was thinking, there's no way. There's got to be more to this.
When he said UCLA, I thought James was joking. I really did. I didn't see I was at work. I didn't see the commitment video yet. But when he said, oh, he committed to UCLA, I was like, no, James is messing with us. No, there's no way. And then Ben Axelrod on Twitter, I saw him. Jalen Gill commits to UCLA. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then, of course, the rest of the video came out, and he was kidding us.
Which I actually read where a running back coach had some. Where's his idea?
You know what? It wouldn't shock me, but I mean, I think I read where UCLA knew about it ahead of time, so it's not a big deal. He didn't do it just to troll UCLA. He did it just to have fun, which that's fine. You're having fun. I get it.
Yeah, it was funny once we saw the end of the video.
Yeah. Then I had to watch it when I got home. I was like, I gotta watch this video when it comes up. Let's moving on. Jalen Gill, obviously in the class. God bless him. We love him. We're so excited for him. Wide receivers. This is where it gets interesting. Currently, I don't think we have any wide receiver commits. Do we? Am I missing somebody?
No, we don't have any right now.
But we do have targets that we're in on. The first one is Cameron Babb is going to be at St. Louis, Missouri, going to be at Friday Night Lights. Thought to be a heavy Ohio State lean, maybe even a silent commit. Do you think there's any chance we're losing this kid?
No, unless something changes. Much like the record deal, unless something changes, he's a Buckeye. I think he's telling other recruits that. Even maybe recruiting for him.
He is a little bit recruiting for him, it seems like. I think he was all over Mike Thompson, who's got Ohio State in his Final Five. So.
Yeah, and then you had Vincent telling him I like that.
Exactly.
For recruiting.
Yeah, I love Vincent too. I don't think he's going to be there, but I love Vincent. So Cameron Babb, do you think he commits at Friday Night Lights, or do you think he waits?
Honestly, I don't think he knows. I mean, I think once you get there, it could hold change. Right now, I don't think he's exactly planning on it, but I don't think he's denying the chance that he could.
I'm going to go ahead and call it another. I'm going to go ahead and say it's another Chase Young special where he goes to Friday Night Lights not really knowing if he's going to commit, and then he ends up just getting caught up in the moment and just says, you know what, I'm in. It's over with. I'm in. I think that's what's going to happen with Cameron Babb.
Yeah, because I mean, it's very special. I mean, lights, under the lights, all your friends or recruits you're so close with.
Yeah, exactly. And you're getting coached by your future coaching position. I mean, by Zach Smith. So.
You know, you got the adrenaline flowing.
Competition going, and then you just.
Time.
And you're gonna be hanging out with the players on top of that. The Ohio State players are gonna be there. So. I mean, last year I remember Benjamin Victor was showing Trevin Grimes around, and that was a fun sight to see.
Oh yeah, it's always great seeing players with the targets.
And next one is this is where we get to have a little bit of fun. 6'6", 220-pound, just unbelievable athlete, and LaChristian Blue Smith is what he's called, and he's supposedly torn between Ohio State and Alabama, USC, no, Kentucky. I'm not sure how people think that, because I know he hangs out. I know he's at Kentucky this weekend with Alex, whatever that guy's last name is. I cannot pronounce that. That defensive end who's from Ohio who can't stand Ohio State because they didn't offer him. And
he tried to commit multiple times while there.
And it's just like, dude, I mean, that's kind of... Look, I can understand wanting to play for Ohio State, but I mean, and I actually am happy for him that he gets to go to a good college. And Kentucky is a good college. But stop pretending it's Ohio State in football. In basketball, I will concede that Kentucky is way above Ohio State in basketball. Football, you weren't even in our stratosphere, folks. I don't know what to tell you. And that's just the truth. I mean, you have an 8-win season, and it's considered a good year. 8-win season for us, and we're ready to fire the coach. So
we lose 2 games, and we fire the offensive coordinator, which needs to be done.
It did need to be done. We lose 2 games, and people are thinking Urban Meyer's losing it. I mean, I'm just saying, it's not. It's not even
burn down the whole place. Start from the scratch.
I mean, losing 31-0 to Clemson was probably one of the low points of Ohio State's or Urban Meyer's tenure at Ohio State. You do that at Kentucky, it's Tuesday or whatever, So it's just, man, you tagged me on that one, home run. So it's like,
see you later, bud.
and it's like, okay, not Tuesday, but it's just Saturday against Alabama, whatever it is. But it's just, come on, guys. I mean, he's not torn between the two. How much do you think he's going to? Obviously we both feel he's going to Ohio State. What do you think? Is he a lock, or is it kind of iffy, or what do you think?
I think he's already committed. I think personally, no, I have no evidence, but just on my opinion, that he committed to Meyer during the little interview or meeting they had.
I kind of agree with you. I agree with you. I know Kentucky fans want to have their hopes up that they can beat us for a commit, and it's happened once before with Landon Young. I think we did want Landon Young and they got him, but at the same time, they get a lot of Ohio commits. That's why they think they're beating us for Ohio kids, and they don't realize that we're going rational. We're going national. We're not just taking Ohio kids anymore. And if this were Jim Tressel, you wouldn't. Your program would still stink because you wouldn't be getting these Ohio kids. And I mean stink as in losing seasons every year, even though you're still kind of almost doing that. So I look at it as, guys, I mean, Xavier Peters was another one who committed and decommitted the next day, but he committed and everybody thought that they'd beat us for him. And I'm like, you don't even realize we're in on like 4 other linebackers that we like. I mean, nothing against Xavier Peters. And we didn't even offer him. And nothing against Xavier Peters. The guy is a good player. It's not that he's not a good player, but there's some things they need to work out before they can give him an offer. And to think that you just went and beat us.
When it comes to these recruits, people understand there's other issues, not just talent-wise or how they play on the field. There's other things. They got to play school.
Yeah. Poor Cardale.
Yeah, he's still living in that.
He's always going to, unfortunately, but it was funny anyway. Yeah, I mean, that's
also,
the thing.
With the whole Blue Smith thing, these Kentucky insiders are lying to their fans if they really think he's torn.
Oh, I think
his
they're
dad has said multiple times that we lead.
I think it's just a matter of they're scratching for whatever they can in the Kentucky boards, where we got really good writers with Gleitman and Kierlich, and Steve Wilfong's good, even though I just ripped on him a little bit ago. Wilfong is great, though. I love Wilfong's opinions. So we got really great, and Wilfong's not an Ohio State writer, but he is on Ohio State a lot because he's a Midwestern guy. But let's be honest. I mean, we got really good in-depth writers that pretty much can be honest with us when they don't feel like a commit is going to Ohio State, and they're all pretty much saying, yeah, I expect them to be in the Ohio State class. So whatever, the Kentucky writers, if you want to give false hope to guys, that's fine. And by the way, if Blue Smith end up, for whatever reason, end up going to Kentucky, I just wish him well. Say, all right, well, you didn't want to come to Ohio State, that's fine. Just I wish you well, but I'm not gonna belittle the guy. So.
And even if he did commit to Kentucky, it's not like our coaches would stop recruiting him.
Yeah, exactly, and he's gonna flip at some point. So. Okay, let's move on because we're gonna run out of time. I got about an hour if I can get it at best. Wide receiver Jahan Dotson. This one's interesting to me because we need a slot receiver. We just told Elijah Moore, don't even bother coming because we're not really sharing the interest in you right now, and we're not showing interest in you, and you're gonna end up being. He's gonna go to Ole Miss. Dotson was somebody I've been reading a lot that wants to come to Ohio State. And do you think there's a realistic possibility we just go ahead and try to snatch him up?
If he impresses the coaching staff enough, yes. Personally, I'd love to have him in the class. I think he's Ohio State caliber. I think he's a pretty good wide receiver. I mean, because I don't think the class is that loaded. Like the 2018 class is loaded with wide receivers.
I agree. It's just, I mean, it's not the class it was, I think, last year that had Donovan Peoples-Jones, Trevin Grimes, just some super studs that were just can't miss kind of players. This one's got Brown, who everybody loves, and there's a couple other guys that people like. Babb, I think, is going to be very good, but it's not last year. And Dotson, we need a slot receiver. We can't keep getting these 6'4" receivers, 6'5", 6'6". You got to have some guys who can work the middle. And I think Dotson at 5'11", 180 pounds can be that guy. That's my opinion.
Yep, I definitely agree with you on that one.
And let's be honest, if we don't get him, he's going to Penn State. Yeah, he's going to Penn State. If we don't get him, I don't want to face him every year. I mean, it's just, come on, you know. So watch out for Jahan Dotson, everybody. That he could legitimately get an offer, or does he already have an offer? I think.
I am not sure on that one. I think he really wants to be a Buckeye.
He might get the green light. Let's put it that way. He might get the green light on Friday Night Light to go ahead and commit.
Yeah. And he's not just good. He has interest, definitely.
Oh yeah, this is a business trip. He's going to work out. This is a business trip. Let's move on to one more wide receiver, Trey Knox, 2019 guy. Let's be honest, he's been very close in the past to committing. He's a maybe to show up at Friday Night Lights, but he's probably going to be there because there's some other Tennessee guys that are going to be there, like Max Ray, Master
T. The whole Tennessee game's going.
Yeah. I got to believe Trey Knox will be with them. He loves Ohio State. Is he on commit watch?
Yes. Anytime you get up to High State, big old group, especially when your teammates already committed there.
2 of them already,
Master Teague. Oh, yeah, way too, isn't he?
Well, not only Ray's his teammate, but I think they know each other. Yeah.
So that's always a big deal.
Oh yeah, I agree. So. We're putting Trey Knox 2019 could be our first 2019 commit. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure.
So we're going to move on to a very fun person to talk about. We're going to offensive line.
Oh,
and
geez.
Easily the number one target for the offensive line for Ohio State is definitely Vertus Brown. No, I'm kidding. Is definitely Jackson Carman. I forgot which high school right now. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on it. But Fairfield. Thank you. I was about to say Huber Heights, but I was like, no, that's not right. But anyway, Jackson Carman from Fairfield. I think rated number one offensive tackle in the country. Let's just be honest. He's not. I don't think he was born in Ohio, but I think he's been in Ohio for a long time. And he's been thought to be an Ohio State lock, but he seems to like to play the recruiting game quite a bit with Clemson and USC now emerging as possible destinations for him. Well, do you think he's talking about he's going to just show up at Clemson, the cookout, or he's going to show up at Ohio State Friday Night Lights? What do you think he does?
Oh, this is a tough one. Me, I'm going to try to be optimistic and say he's going to Ohio State. That'd be my guess. I'm
saying Clemson because I think he's really enjoying fooling people right now. I think he's going to end up a Buckeye. Kurlick even said that he believes that no matter where he goes, he ends up a Buckeye. As far as this weekend, I mean, Friday Night Lights or the cookout, he still ends up a Buckeye is what Kurlick thinks. I tend to agree he's going to end up a Buckeye, but I think he's going to go to the Clemson cookout just because he loves the intrigue he's creating. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I see an interesting thing where it said that Micah Parsons and Carman want to play together, and I don't believe Parsons is considering Clemson, if I'm not mistaken.
Or USC for that matter. I don't think.
Exactly.
I still believe they both end up at Ohio State one way or another, but I just think they like playing the recruiting game, and that's fine. But the way you look at Ohio State, the way they're recruiting, they got Max Ray in the fold. We'll talk about him. He's coming to Friday Night Lights. And they want 3 offensive tackles from what I understand. And they're talking to that Nicholas Petit-Frere from Florida. They're on him pretty hard. They've let Vertus Brown go to Florida State. I'm not to say that Florida State didn't beat us for him, because they did beat us for him, but we didn't push hard right now. And then they also, from what we understand, might not be pushing for Juice Scruggs either. And you start to wonder, man, who do they got in the fold that they're not pushing for these guys? Because these are good players. And you got to believe the way they're going after one offensive tackle and Petit-Frere, and if they want 3, they feel Jackson Carman's already in the fold. What do you think?
Oh, I would agree with you. I mean, because you got to have offensive linemen. You always have to take a pretty good amount. Plus, with likely Jones going pro, Prince if he has a good year, it doesn't hurt to have extra offensive linemen. And there's a pretty good amount of high prospects and linemen in 2018.
Yeah, I agree, and it's kind of interesting to see how their offensive line recruiting is evolving here as the year goes on. But okay, we split on where Jackson Carman's going, but we both feel he's going to be a Buckeye. Let's talk about a guy who actually is committed to Ohio State. Doesn't seem to be flinching on that at all. It's going to be at Friday Night Lights. Max Ray from Tennessee, coming with Master T, coming with Jordan Davis, Alabama commit, defensive end, and coming with Trey Knox. Likely Trey Knox. I love having him back on campus because anything you could do to keep solidifying a great player like that is just a positive.
Oh, for sure, and especially his little brother's coming.
Jake Ray.
Possible, yep. Possible,
2020.
Commit in 2020.
Another big-time guy for 2019 is coming. Michigan guy Devontae Dobbs. He's not a Michigan commit, but he's from Michigan and thought to be an Ohio State-Michigan battle for his services. This is huge. I can't even put it any more simply than that. It's huge to get this kid back at Ohio State. I think he was at Friday Night Lights last year, and that's when he got his offer. But number one of the top offensive tackles in the country for 2019. It looks like we have a real shot at this one, wouldn't you say?
I would say we would lead at the moment.
Wow, lead. Well, okay. I'd say split even in my opinion, but saying we lead is not far fetched. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. Well,
Michigan's going to be on him pretty hard.
Yeah, anytime you go up there and steal one of their good prospects, it's always a good day.
I would love to steal this guy from Michigan, the number one player in Michigan for next year. Just taking him from Harbaugh would just be. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do that day if that happens, but I'm going to have a little fun because anytime you beat Harbaugh, I love beating Harbaugh for Michael Jordan. That was great, but I love beating him for.
That guy's starting.
Yeah, exactly. He'd probably be starting for Michigan right now if he was if he went there, and Mike Weber might be starting for Michigan if we didn't keep him in the fold. So it's always a good day to. It's always a good day to keep those guys. Let's next offensive line 2019. This one's on commit watch. That's unequivocally true. He's on commit watch. Is Doug Nestor from West Virginia. One of the top offensive linemen for 2019, and he's spending the entire week in Ohio.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot. That's a long time. A lot of talking in your ear.
If you don't want to think that's a business trip, I don't know what to tell you. That's a business trip right there.
Yeah, you're spending a lot of money.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm looking forward. I think he commits to Friday Night Lights. That's my opinion. I think it's over with.
I would agree with you on that one.
So we're talking about Doug Nestor, possibly Cameron Babb, not Blue Smith. He's waiting until August, but possibly Cameron Babb, Doug Nestor. Be two great pickups for maybe even Trey Knox. Be three great pickups actually for Friday Night Lights. Zeke Correll's another one I really want to talk about real quick. Is an Ohio guy, Ohio offensive lineman. They like him a lot. I don't think he's ready to commit, but I do think our lead's going to just grow in this one. What do you think?
I agree. I think we have a fairly decent lead, but anytime you can get him on campus, it's always good.
Yeah, these are highly ranked. Yeah, these are highly ranked guys. I mean, Zeke Correll, Doug Nestor are extremely highly ranked, and they're just, I think they're both guards. I think Nestor might be a tackle, but I think they both project to be guards at the next level. And I think that's going to be the exact time in 2019 when you want to completely rebuild the depth of your interior linemen. Because let's be honest, it looks like Josh Myers and Wyatt Davis, who are already Buckeyes, are looking good so far, and they're probably going to be starters in 2018. So it'll be good to rebuild the depth. They're saying Josh Myers looks great. His just everything about him looks great. And Wyatt Davis, I have no doubt on anyway, but he's just got to lose some baby fat. He's a little bit big, a little bit big boy. Yeah, exactly. Let's go to defensive line. Guess who's coming to Ohio State, man? One of my favorite commits, Georgia defensive end Brenton Cox, my friend. Love this kid. This kid is a future superstar. I love taking one of the best out of Georgia away from Kirby Smart. I love the fact that we beat a SEC country for him. And he's just, I hope we keep him in the fold. I think we will. I think he's about as solid as he's ever been. That's what he says after coming away from the opening, because he was getting to know all the Buckeye commits even better. I love it, man. How positive is this to get him back on campus?
Oh, yeah. I mean, because, his mom's pro-Georgia.
Yeah, very pro-Georgia.
His family seemed to be.
They weren't too happy with him, I guess, as the rumors were all over the message boards and whatnot. That they just weren't that happy with his choice. Not that they were like dissuading him for it or not encouraging him about it, but they probably would prefer Georgia. And I don't think it's a Zamir White situation where his mom just doesn't like the country roads or whatever it was, but
that's some bullshit.
that was terrible. But I do think that he's getting pressure at home, maybe to reconsider Georgia. But I think we keep him in the fold because it's Larry Johnson, and I have full faith and trust in Larry Johnson to do his job because he's a great recruiter and great coach and great person.
Best in the country.
Best in the country. Brenton Cox getting back on campus is huge, or as Donald Trump would say, huge. It's huge. So, very happy
huge
about
wall.
that.
Mexico's going to pay for the wall.
Exactly. We're going to build a wall along the Ohio border and keep Brenton Cox in Ohio. And Georgia's going to pay for it. But another guy who might be coming, might not, but I think he will, is Micah Parsons. I'll be honest with you, if Micah Parsons shows up at Friday Night Lights, I think Jackson Carmen's at Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, they're definitely big buddies.
So I mean, they're definitely talking, and I actually, if they just say it's not for sure yet with Parsons because he's going to Alabama, I think, the middle of the week, or Notre Dame. I can't. It could be one of those two. I can't remember which one it was. He might have already gone to Alabama for all I know, but he's definitely going somewhere in the middle of the week. I'm sorry, I don't have every little detail on me. I apologize, but he's very likely to be at Friday Night Lights. And do you think he ends up a Buckeye? Not on Friday night. He's not going to commit Friday Night Lights. I thought he would earlier in the year, but I don't see it happening now. But do you think he ends up a Buckeye?
I don't think it's Friday Night Lights. I do, as of right now. I mean, I'll see how fluid recruiting is. He could very well end up back at Penn State, but if he does end up at Ohio State, then he's likely at Penn State. I feel like he's only really considering them.
I agree with you. I think it's either us or Penn State. That's how I feel about it. I don't think Miami's a real contender.
I would give us the lead. I
definitely think we're in the lead. I think if we weren't in the lead, he'd be back at Penn State right now. That's my opinion, because why withhold it any longer? There's no point.
Well, he's just good friends with Jalen Gill, Emory Jones, Jackson Carmen. I mean, the list goes on and on. He's friends with them.
Absolutely.
That's a big deal.
Two more defensive ends I want to go over really briefly. I kind of want to go over Noah Potter, but I don't think I will. He's Micah Potter's younger brother, but he doesn't have an offer yet. But I will say Jason Alway from New Jersey. This kid ran a 4.46 in his 40,
Jeez.
And he had I think a 40-inch vertical on top of it. He's a 6'5", 240-pound, extremely raw athlete at defensive end. And
what do they feed these kids nowadays?
I don't know, but something's in the water, and They definitely, from what I understand, really want this kid. I mean, he's a 4-star composite, but he's only played for about a year, and so he's extremely raw. He probably would redshirt his first year to pack on some technique and some good weight on top of that. But they really, really want this kid, and we are the last visit before he decides between us, Penn State, Notre Dame. And here's a tidbit you got to know about. Aeneas Hawkins, Ohio defensive end / defensive tackle, is now trending big time to Penn State, which directly affects Jason Alway. And I actually now believe Jason Alway is ours to lose. What do you think?
Yeah. I thought there's a pretty good chance, but like you said with the Hawkins, him trending that way, it very well could be because maybe Alway, is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Is maybe had informed the coaches that he's very interested in Ohio State, or that he's just not coming to Penn State.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think he's telling them I'm leaning towards Ohio State heavily, and you might want to look around because I'm looking around. At one point, he was thought to be a Penn State lock, and then Larry Johnson's done his work on this one. He's doing work, and people are saying, how many defensive ends are we going to take? Well, folks, you got to consider the fact we're going to lose Jalen Holmes, Sam Hubbard, Tyquan Lewis, probably Darius Slade to transfer, probably Rashad Berry to transfer. We're probably going to lose 5 defensive ends. So because there's no way that Berry's going to be over Cooper and Young, so he's never going to play. And
were there talks about moving Berry to tight end, or is that?
That was just because of the injury, though, because of A.J. Alexander. Okay. And right now, Berry is really. Listen. I like the kid a lot. I think he's a great kid, but he's nothing. He's really nothing more than a utility player for Ohio State right now. and which is unfortunate, but it's just unfortunately true. And because if you can talk about keeping him away from defensive end and moving him to tight end, God, you keep switching him positions like that, he's never going to develop. So it's just, in my opinion, at this point, it's those 5 are going to be gone, and I think you gotta replace them. So we're looking at possibly Jason Alway, Brenton Cox, Micah Parsons, and Tyreek Smith, and Andrew Chatfield at defensive end.
That's a loaded group.
Now, granted, Parsons or Chatfield could end up being a linebacker, but still, it's just how it is. But anyway, moving on. We got Jordan Davis, real quick. Alabama commit. Is there any shot at this, or is it just a joyride?
I think he's just visiting for the heck of it.
I mean, wouldn't you? I mean, if you're like a couple hours away from Ohio State.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's beautiful to come see Columbus and hang out with some buddies, I guess.
Yeah, he's hanging out with his Tennessee buddies, and but you ain't just stealing somebody from Alabama. That doesn't happen very often. And moving on to defensive tackles, man. Here we go. Jawan Briggs is an interesting one. That's a battle between Ohio State and Notre Dame, or 2019 kid. So he's definitely not committing this Friday.
No. I think it's equal between Penn State and Ohio State right now. I think it's pretty well.
Oh, you don't think it's Notre Dame? Because everybody was saying Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, Notre Dame. My bad. I meant to say that.
There's also a 2018 defensive tackle number 2 in the country, I think. I'm going to call him Toga, but it's Togai or something like that, from Idaho. And he's making a trip from Idaho all the way out to talk to Larry Johnson and company at Friday Night Lights. Probably work out for Larry Johnson as well. Is that one gone? Is he going to USC or Washington, and we're just kind of like, he's just taking a joy trip out, or what do you think?
I don't know. I don't know much about the kid because I haven't really even heard of him until I heard he was going to Friday Night Lights. But anytime that's a pretty long drive or flight, so I think there's some genuine interest.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be genuine interest. I just, oh man, you already go to, I got you. I completely
got the pictures running.
I completely botched the catch there. I got you, but yeah, I don't see him. He's not committing Friday night. That's obvious, but I just wonder if it actually helps us. I don't know if a kid coming to Friday Night Lights is actually the type of visit to put us in the lead somewhere if we weren't already doing well with the kid. And it seems like he's already pretty much booked to USC, and I don't think it's going to matter much. I think he has legitimate interest, but I just don't think it'll be enough on a Friday Night Lights type of visit to catapult us, to that level.
And I don't know if there's enough time, really, to build a relationship there.
I agree. So moving on to linebacker, commit Dallas Gant is going to be there. He's locked and loaded and ready to go be a Buckeye. I'm not even worried about him. Glad to have him in the class, the best linebacker in the state of Ohio. Christopher Oates. Okay, tell me, is there any shot he's in this class at all? And I don't mean in the sense that Ohio State can't get him if they don't want him, if they want him. But is he going to have a spot for him or?
Nah, I don't think so. I think he's down the list. I think there's Pope in front of him, Harris.
There's a lot
for sure that'd be ahead of him.
A lot of linebackers are ahead of him. Solomon Tilapupu or whatever his name is.
I wouldn't even get started on trying to say that.
Gayote. These names out here, man. Obviously Gayote is a USC commit, but they're still trying to flip him, and they'll take him no matter how many linebackers they have in this class. We call him Solomon Poo-Poo, but I'm going to go ahead and just keep calling him Poo-Poo. I just like saying that. This is funny. Because I'm 33 years old going on 13, I guess. And so we Poo-Poo's, they're going after him. And then, of course, like you said, you got Pope and Harris, who, even though Harris is leaning heavily towards Auburn right now, I'm almost convinced that if we said, yeah, we'll take you, he'd just flip in a second. That's how I feel about it. But, yeah, I don't see Christopher Oates ending up in this class. I mean, I appreciate the kid's zeal to come work out and try to impress the coaches enough to, get that committable offer. And maybe he should go to Kentucky so Kentucky thinks they beat us for another guy.
Yeah, you offered him.
Yeah, you guys offered him. That's their excuse. They don't see in Kentucky. You don't understand what a committable offer is.
Stoops troops.
Yeah. Jeez. Jeez. Oh, I hit that right to your second baseman. Anyway, another linebacker 2019 I'll go over real quick. Cade Stover is a maybe. My goodness, is this guy going to commit or not? Because since January, everybody's been saying he's on commit watch, and it hasn't happened yet.
That's a good question. I mean, I remember at the spring game they thought that it was coming soon, and then it was the next time he visited.
Yeah, everybody thought it was over.
Every time he shows up, I think he's on commit watch. So I guess there's a chance. But I don't know.
I'm not seeing it, but whatever. I mean, I think he will at some point, but not right now. Let's go real quick because we're actually almost at the end of the game. Wow. This is big. Seven Banks, Josh Proctor, Jaden Woodbay are all visiting. They're all Buckeye commits. Obviously, Proctor and Woodbay are being pursued by Oklahoma and USC, and Banks is going to take a bunch of visits. He just now announced today. How big is it to get all of them back on campus at the same time together, knowing that they all know they're going to be in the same secondary?
Well, that's always a big deal for them to get to know each other and hang out. And like you said, since they will all play together. Plus, it's just good to get Woodby back on campus. Since all this Oklahoma talk and.
I agree. I'm big on Woodby. I think he's going to be a great player. Proctor, I think, is a sleeper. Diamond. He's one of the top safeties in the country, so it's not like a diamond in the rough situation. But he's extremely tall, long, athletic, very smart, and played really well at the opening. And Seven Banks just balled out at the opening, and people didn't know who he was. Now they do. I want to keep all of them, but obviously it's going to be a battle no matter what. But getting them all on campus to hang out together, to me, is just so huge. The relationships with the coaches are very important. That's obvious. But people need not to underestimate the relationships between the actual commits themselves. That becomes huge. So anyway, going back on, I'm going to talk about one of these athletes. Ronnie Hickman is considered an Ohio State lean. 2019 kid. Could he? I was hearing he may commit a while ago. Do you think it's possible he pulls the trigger in the Friday Night Lights?
Where's he from again?
I believe Georgia. I believe Georgia, but I could be wrong on that.
Honestly, I don't. I mean, I remember him getting an offer or getting a crystal ball for it, but that's all I remember about him.
Well, I mean, I think it's possible we see him pull. I mean, to me, he'd be a sleeper pick, but I think he could pull the trigger. We could actually have a huge start to the 2019 class come Friday Night Lights. If you count Hickman, possibly Zeke Correll, which I don't think Zeke Correll, but it's possible. Trey Knox and Doug Nestor. I mean, think about that. You could potentially have 4 commits in one night to the 2019 class.
Well, that's big just because they're all there. They're all very.
He's from New Jersey, by the way. Ronnie Hickman. I just read it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. I was gonna say that Georgia didn't sound right, but I wasn't for sure either.
Thank you, Bill Kierlich, because he just corrected me on that one. So, I think I can get it before the show ends, but that's going to be Friday Night Lights. Potentially, I think is anywhere from maybe just one. There's going to be definitely at least one commit, but it could be as high as 6, and I don't think it will be as high as 6, but it's possible. And even if it is as high as 6, there's going to be a lot of silence, I would imagine. So July 21st, Friday Night Lights. Make sure you pay attention. It's going to be a lot of fun. Trent, I know you and I will be paying attention.
Oh, I'll be paying attention. I'll be at work just on my phone the whole time.
Oh, that's right. You work late. Oh, man, that's terrible.
Yeah, I know. So if my boss is listening, sorry.
Oh, but obviously I don't want to cost you your job. I don't. But still, that's just. That's rough. But yeah, I usually work till about 5 or 6. I'm gonna get home, take a shower, get ready, and pop my computer on to just watch whatever coverage I can of Friday Night Lights because we're that
history.
We're that obsessed. Yeah, we're that obsessed with freaking Ohio State recruiting. But this has been the Ohio State Bucknutz podcast, what's spelled with a Z. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'll tell you what, if you do enjoy it, I know Trent and I would like to do this a little bit more because this has actually been kind of relaxing and kind of fun in a lot of ways. So maybe we'll do a show after Friday Night Lights to review it and see what happens. Hopefully, if you can, leave a comment. If you can, like it. Or if you can, just give us some feedback. See what you think. What do you think, Trent?
Sounds good to me.
Dynamite commentary from Trent. Yeah. He's trying to beat me right now. I mean, yep, that's the last out, isn't it? Yep.
Here we go.
Oh, 2-0. Shut me out. Oh. And it's on video now.